As an archaeologist, you have to rely on what evidence you get. Our present knowledge is limited about old cities. We have to work more on that. The present Dwarka, which is located in the western part of the country, is the most potential sites from archaeological point of view, where we are searching for the remains. Any heritage, whether on land or underwater, has its value when it is in context. If you're talking about underwater archaeology, not many cities have been excavated.
Reva University presents Reva Podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome to Reva Podcast series. I am Anakha Ajay, Master of Performing Arts student of Reva University. Today we have with us a very interesting personality, Dr. Alok Tripathi, a renowned archaeologist with a specialization in underwater archaeology. He is a professor at Assam University and the Assistant Director General of Archaeological Survey of India. He is also the pioneer of the underwater excavations of Dwarka. Sir, welcome to Reva University.
Thank you.
We are very delighted to have you here, and we are more excited to know about you as a person and to deep dive into your journey and work, and also to explore the stories of the lost city of Dwarka. Yes, sir. Sir, can you tell me what inspired you to be involved in this excavation process at Dwarka?
See, when I joined Archaeological Survey of India as an archaeologist, we were doing routine work. It was the time when Government of India decided to start underwater archaeology, and they asked the willingness. And since I had a Navy background, water experience, and I was young in age, so probably government selected me as the first underwater archaeologist to undergo training in underwater archaeology. So I was asked to join the work which was going on at Dwarka. So I reached at Dwarka and started working. And when I started the work, I found, because it was a new field, there was no work was done earlier. So we had a great scope. And then it was so adventurous. And I always wanted to do diving and go underwater. So it gave me those all opportunities which I always wanted to do. So it combined adventure with the subject which I liked right from my childhood. So it was the place which I found is the most suitable for me, and therefore I decided that I should work in this field. And then I chose to continue there, and since then I am working in.
So you had any expectations about the place before the process began?
Not really, because I had just passed my masters, joined the service. I really didn't have much information about it. Of course, we used to hear about the work which was going on, because it started somewhere in 83 there. So when I got a chance to go there, definitely I was, as a young archaeologist, I was thrilled. And when I joined there, it was altogether a different world, which I enjoyed.
Sir, I heard from your interview that it was your first dive and you got trained there also.
Yeah. So that time there were no diving schools, no certification. So professional divers who were working there, they gave me the training. And when I had a first dive, I went down, and going down and looking the inner space of the world was a altogether very different experience. So it was something like a dream coming true. So I really enjoyed it. And when I used to go down, because in diving, unless you are really interested, that's a big difference. And there are many people who know swimming, they are physically fit, but unless you have willingness to go under water and work in a different environment, you can't be a very successful diver. So it was an opportunity probably I was looking for my life. And so when I got this, I started working, and I used to enjoy. And let me tell you, when I was going underwater, I used to enjoy like anything.
You enjoy the work you do.
Yeah.
Yes. So what was the most significant discovery that was made in Dwarka?
See, for an archaeologist, every discovery is significant, because every material evidence is important. You never know that which object can give you what information. So, for example, I'll tell you a small piece of carbon can change the history. So, when you look at it, you may not find it very artistic or something which is very interesting, but it may give you a date which may change your itihas. So, for an archaeologist, finding every object is important, and more important is its scientific documentation, analysis, and interpretation. So you find that every object is significant, and you can't say that something more means
Is more
if it is
significant
of gold object doesn't mean that it is more important than a stone object or a terracotta object.
Yes, sir. So, how did this excavation process change your understanding of the city and its history?
See, cities, if you are talking about, you know, in the right from the Harappan period, that the urban phase, what we call the mature Harappan, we have very well designed cities. And being on the earth, they are well preserved. Though the whole world talk about Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, but the best city of an early period is Dholavira, that is in Gujarat. So it is a city par excellence, a city which even probably we can't think today, the way it was meticulously planned and the water harvesting system it had. So that is what the idea we have. Underwater, when you go, you don't find things arranged or surviving in that way. Again, it depends what kind of sea you are working in. If you are talking about Arabian Sea, particularly Gujarat coast, there is a huge variation of tide, and the underwater current and waves are very strong. So you can't expect the whole city or a structure surviving as it sank. What you find there is a scattered remains of old structures, and with the help of their location, if you find them in situ, you have to imagine that how the things would have been. So that's where we are working, and we are trying to find the extension of this area and the nature of structures, remains of which we are finding underwater.
Sir, there were other cities, ancient cities that were there in that era. So, how does Dwarka's layout is compared to them?
The layout we have to work out because a lot more work has to be done there. And archaeological excavation, again, if we return back to archaeology, is limited to a limited part of the city. So our present knowledge is limited about old cities. We have to work more on that. And when we have a series of or a number of sites, if we work on that of particular period, then we can make out that how these cities would have been, and our understanding definitely would improve about that.
So, were there any unique features of the city that you uncovered?
See, for the city, as I mentioned just now, you have to work
more.
and work more. You have to work in a larger area, study all the remains, put them in the place, and then you have to visualize how it would have been. So, lot more work has to be done on that.
And I heard that in archaeology, there is always another scope.
Definitely, because even whatever has been worked, somebody can see it from a different perspective. He may analyze in a different way and can reinterpret it, or may get an earlier date, or may have a different information from the same source. So that is always possible. So we can't say that whatever has been done is the final, because there is always a scope to do something more on that.
Yes, sir. And while you're excavating an ancient city, it would have a fair share of hurdles. What were your biggest challenges that
See,
you
every
faced?
site has a different challenges, because somewhere it's the deposit, somewhere it is the nature of the material, somewhere it's the climate of that place. And if you're talking about underwater archaeology, not many cities have been excavated. And those which are in other seas, the environment is altogether very different. When we work about the Indian Ocean, the nature is very different. So as I just mentioned that we have a great variation in the tide, so several meters. So the water goes and comes. Current at times is very strong, sea is very rough. So facing that itself is a challenge, and then working and finding whatever is preserved or left over. So it itself is a very challenging and different from others. So I think it would not be fair if we compare two different cities, because their nature and environment is altogether very different.
So for diving, like, is there any particular time period, like months that we can?
A good diver can dive anytime, but we prefer a better period when the sea is calm, visibility is good, because ultimately when you are going to work underwater, you want to see what is there. So if the sea is rough, then you will have a lot of sediment and all, visibility will not be good, you can't see many things, and you can't record them, you can't take good photographs, you can't make the drawings. So generally the winter season is preferred, because in summer there is very high waves and the sea is very turbid. So the winter season is good.
Sir, and Dwarka is very intertwined with mythology. So when you did the excavation process, did the ancient stories and the the physical evidence that you got match, or were there any points of divergence?
See, literature is always helpful because it's a very important source to give you information. When an archaeologist is going to work in any area, he has to collect the basic information. It is two-way, because literature gives you a lot of information. At the same time, it also poses a challenge also, because if your finds in literature they don't match, then you have to explain that where is the variation and why it is so. And the information what you get may also help you a lot in identifying the place or the materials which you are finding. So it works in both way. Of course, literature in case of Dwarka, if we are talking about, is very helpful because it tells us about the location of the place where we can look it. Otherwise, because the sea is so vast, you cannot go and explore the whole. Of course, it will take a long time. So when you have information where suppose it tells where it was, close to which place, so you narrow down your area of search, so it saves your time, money, energy. So here we, based on the information, we are trying to look into it. But as an archaeologist, you have to rely on what evidence you get it, and then you have to correlate that how you can match both of them.
So can you talk more about the literature or ancient stories that helped you to uncover Dwarka?
See, for example, location of Dwarika. We get information from a number of literature. Some of the sources mention that the city was located close to a hill, that is a Revataka hill. So you can locate the hill and nearby you can search for it. There are certain literature that includes Mahabharata and Purana. So they mentioned that the city was close to sea and it is believed that it was destroyed by the sea. So now it has to be near the coast or close to the sea. We also have a source which mentioned that on the one side of the city was a hill and on the other side was the sea. So based on this information, of course, these literature are from different periods. There are certain variation, but there are certain similarities. So you have to collect everything, analyze in your own way, and based on that, we have narrowed down the place, and we find that the present Dwarika, which is located in the western part of the country, is the most potential sites from archaeological point of view, where we are searching for the remains on the land in the nearby area as well as in the sea.
Sir, I heard the excavations were done near the river Gomati.
Yeah.
And also near a temple in the upper hill. So that was the main points of sites of.
Because literature also mentioned that Dwarika was situated where river Gomati meets the sea, and there is a stream known as Gomati. So most of the works are so far concentrated
on-
close to it. And there, of the present town of Dwarka, in the sea we have found structural remains of buildings. These are huge stone blocks, parts of the walls, which definitely are man-made. They are not natural, and they are scattered in a large area. When we did a bathymetric survey, we could find certain remains there. We have done diving there. We have explored a fairly good area in that. We have also done some excavations, not very deep, because again there are certain challenges, and we are planning that how we further expand our researches in area as well as we go deep down. So find out what all remains are there, and once we find them, then definitely based on our knowledge and the technology available with us, we will be studying them, analyzing them to find out more about these remains.
Yes, sir. So, sir, from Mahabharata, Ramayana, these are the ancient scriptures that talk about this Dwarka as a site. Can you explain like any other scripts are there or any other?
No, there are
evidences?
Puran which also mention. There is Vayu Puran, Vishnu Puran, Harivansh. They mention about Dwarika. Not only that, a Buddhist source, that is Ghat Jatak. Ghat Jatak mention about Dwarika, and that's the only source. I mean, which mention that there was Dwarika was located near the hill and the sea. And it is again important because its date has been done precisely. It is not later than 3rd century BC. So at least we know by that time this tradition was there and people were aware that what the location was there. So archaeologists go from known to unknown. So you get some information, you move backward, then you get something more, then you go further. So at least we have got that one date from where we have to go backward and find more sources, more information, and finally, as an archaeologist, you have to find the material evidence and then you have to study them.
Yes, sir. So, what all are the efforts that are put into for preserving the site from looting and environmental
See,
damage?
if I talk about underwater archaeology wing and the international practice, UNESCO Convention 2001 emphasize on in situ preservation. See, the any heritage, whether on land or underwater, has its value when it is in context. If you remove it from its place, its value get reduced because its importance is on its own place. For example, if I tell you the war of Panipat, so if there is a memorial in Panipat, it has a real value. If you shift it to any other place, it will lose that its importance. So similarly, we have followed the same principle. We strongly believe in situ preservation. Unless it is required for scientific study or preservation of the heritage, we do not remove it, we do not retrieve it. So our emphasis is to preserve anything and everything where it is found. And so whatever is found there, we try to preserve it there. Now the technology has advanced a lot, and it is possible to preserve it, and not only to preserve it but even make efforts so that the people can go and see it in its real context. So that should be our efforts, and we are working towards that.
So, how will the information on Dwarka be passed on to the public? Like right now, you answered it can't be put in museums.
Yeah.
It can be put in books, but
No, whatever work we do, we publish as a reports. We also publish the research articles. Of course, for the knowledge of public, we should also bring it out in a form so that the people can understand. Now media is very active, and in this age of social media, everything whatever is happening there is reported, and it is spread almost day to day basis. So every day we have people there who want to know that what are the findings of today. So, and we try to disseminate this information through all the possible sources so that the people know about it. Because whatever work is being done, it is utilizing the public money. So public has every right to know that what is being done, And once the research is done, we have the results, we disseminate it with the public. And we are always open to public that if anybody want to come and see and do further work. So because this is how the subject progress.
So will this information be incorporated into the educational field for students?
Oh, that's a long process and that's a different organization altogether. But yes, slowly whatever new work is being done, it gets incorporated in some way or the other in the education system, and the people come to know about it.
Because it's very important to know
Yeah.
about our history.
So
Yes, sir. Because of tourism, what all has affected? Like the public interest and tourism is very evident right now. So because of that, is it good or it is a hindrance or maybe both?
no, it's not a hindrance at all. It's good because once the people come to know about anything, they want to see it. There is a general curiosity. It's a human tendency that we want to know more about everything, and they should see it. But it has to be a sustainable development so that tourists also visit it, they see what they want to see. At the same time, the sites are preserved and so they remain undisturbed. So we have to make systematic efforts for that, so that we keep a balance in both the things.
So tourism is much needed there for its.
Yes, but as an archaeologist, our first priority is to preserve the heritage. At the same time, make it available to the public. So we have to maintain a fine balance so that both things are taken care of. So one should not affect the other.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for being with us here today, and thank you for sharing your expertise with us.
Thank you.
And I'm pretty much sure that whatever you have uncovered, it has revealed history, but at the same time, it has safeguarded it for the future generations. Thank you for sparing your time
Thank you.
and being with us. Can you talk about how was your experience in Reva University? How did it meet your expectations, if you had any?
It was a different experience, and I was remembering my days in National University of Singapore, where we had gone to study the education system, and campus is very well maintained. And the program was really good, and students are really very active, disciplined, and brilliant. So altogether, it was a good experience, and I had come here to see that what best practices we can take from here. So that way, it was an enriching experience.
We are very happy to welcome you from our side. And as we conclude, the echoes of the ancient Dwarka resonates, reminding us about the enduring connection between myth and reality, and the vital role of archaeology in bringing those echoes to life. Thank you for this engaging exploration. Thank you, sir. And thank you for watching Reva podcast series. Thank you.